and welcome to the Vision of Hope show. I am your host and your producer, Debra. I have on the panel with me tonight my co-host and my co-producer, Pastor Geraldine Finley. And we have a marvelous guest for you tonight. We're going to ask you to email, text, message them all, and let them know that the Vision of Hope is on tonight with none other than the great Kristen Hopkins. Enjoy the show.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Good
And
evening.
how are you?
I'm doing well.
Very well. How are you, Pastor?
I'm doing well.
All right. Let's get
excited
this show.
about being here.
Yes, yes. Let's get the show on the road.
Okay.
We have our special guest tonight, and her name is Kristen Hopkins, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and give her background as she may. So in your hands.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Kristen Hopkins, and I'm the CEO and founder of Dangers of the Mind. It's a company where we help students and young adults be able to transform their lives through social and emotional resources. So things that, we didn't have growing up. We didn't have the people to teach us how to manage our emotions. We didn't have people to be able to teach us how to build our character skills, how to be fair and honest and respectful. And so we basically help them do that, but in a very innovative way where we are culturally responsive and we do a lot of fun resources. So it all started with one little book that I wrote in 2014. And from there, it spun off to tons and tons of different things, from a clothing line to intervention kits in schools, to curriculums in schools, to brand ambassadors. We have actually over 80 brand ambassadors right now to date. That's a part of our program. So God is awesome.
All right. and yes, he is.
Yeah.
And I understand you saying that you are the CEO
Yes.
of your business.
Yes.
Dangers of the Mind. And you're an author,
Yes.
you're a motivational
Yes.
speaker,
Yes.
on the line of a teacher,
Definitely.
all of that
Yeah.
out of one book.
One book.
So you said you wrote the book in 2014, and just give us a little detail about the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna rewind back to why I wrote the book,
Okay,
because I
great,
think that
great.
is an important topic to discuss.
Yes.
So at 22 years old, I started a business. It was a public relations business, and I was very successful at a young age, and I didn't know how to maintain that success, I would say. So I was living in Buckhead in Atlanta, like just turned up every day, loved my life. You couldn't tell me nothing type of thing, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so I was in a place in my life where I just was young and loving my life, you know.
Hey.
And so but at that place, there was three things that happened to me that was really critical in my life. Was my condo flooded. So I had a condo in Buckhead, and it had flooded one day, and literally like water was shooting out the wall, out the light fixtures. I mean, it was a wrap for my condo. Then the second thing, second month happened. I was drinking and driving, coming home from the club, and I spun around 7 times and smacked into a pole. And so literally people don't even understand how I got out.
I know.
But you know what's so funny is that is how there was a taxi driver that came to me that night. It was 4 a.m. in the morning, and he came to me. Literally, I opened my eyes and I just saw bright lights, and he I like finally got out the car, like I kind of fell out the car, and he patted me down and he yelled out to all the people, "She's alive, she's okay." And everybody was sitting there like out the heads out the car, like it was bad. And I looked and I'm like, it's not that serious. And I looked at my car and it was literally wrapped around the pole.
Wow.
So it was amazing how such a resilient story on how I survived, but then also how this led to this book. So then the last thing that happened to me was I said that my condo flooded, my car crashed, and my computer crashed. So this is my living, my transportation, and how I make my money. Wow. So of course I got depressed, right?
Yeah.
And I got really, really depressed, and went back home with my parents in North Carolina. And as soon as I walked into my mom and dad's house, I heard Dangers of the Mind. I didn't know what that meant. This is a true story. I didn't know what that meant. So I went upstairs to my mom's office and I wrote, and the only pen I could find was red. And I wrote Dangers of the Mind in red. And so I'm like, what does this mean? So I left it there. The next day, I came back upstairs. I didn't have no computer. My computer had crashed. I had nothing. Wow. I literally opened my mom's computer and I started typing. And I started writing for 3 hours. And as I was writing, I was crying. because I didn't even know what I was writing. So after those 3 hours passed, I literally went back and started reading, and it was all the attacks that were happening against my thought life that were shifting my progress. Everything that was delaying me from walking in my fullest purpose. Things like brokenness, things like fear, things like insecurity, things like perception and distractions, and just a lot of things that were literally pulling me back and minimizing my potential. Yes. And so after I wrote those things, I started figuring out strategies on how to beat those things. So as I was writing my book, I was beating these things, like teaching myself how to beat these things. So once I identified them, then I was like, I can never go back to this life. I can never go back to being so high up and falling because I don't know how to manage my success, or how I don't know how to manage my friends. So, I was out drinking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When people would normally be at work, because I had this like lifestyle where you couldn't tell me nothing. And it's like, I had to really understand how to manage my circle of friends, like who to have around me. And so I believe that I had to fall hard to see all those people that was around me wasn't even for my good. And those people wasn't there. They wasn't there. They wasn't there when I was down. Until I got successful, all of a sudden they DMing me again, so popping up again, but they wasn't there, and I was trying to be shown that. So I learned so much. It's such a phenomenal resilience story. From that book, I wrote that book and I self-published it. I didn't want to be an author. I was 26 years old. I'm like, who's gonna read my story? I don't know how to be an author. Literally start researching how to copyright, I did all this stuff myself, and put the book out, and people just started calling me left and right. Oh my God, this resonates with me. Oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing. And I was like, what? You are? Like, I was just trying to get this off my chest. Like, I wasn't trying to get no money for it. I wasn't thinking like that. I was like, this is what you told me to do. This is what I've been instructed to do. Here it goes to the world. And then from there, it's opened up 6 multiple streams of revenue for my business from one book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
One book.
Well, first of all,
It's crazy. Every time I think about it.
you said this car was wrapped around how many times?
Yeah, it's spun around 7 times, a hydroplane, 7 times, and smacked into a metal pole. My car was wrapped around. It was totaled.
Wow.
So, first of all, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pause and give the Lord a hand praise.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
All the glory goes to Him.
Yes.
All of it belongs to Him.
Yes.
And all of this came before all of what you've accomplished now. So there was a beginning to this. And I'm going to shift it over to Pastor and let her.
Well, it sounded like the book was birthed out of a downfall and out of the valley. And a lot of times we look at the valley as a bad place. But I believe there are a lot of things can happen in the valley. You can get in touch with yourself in that valley. And what happened, sometimes we fall, but we don't change. But you allow the change to come out of the what happened, what seemed to be tragic, but really it was a victorious story at the end.
Absolutely. And and just like I was thinking about how I identify all the different things that are holding me back, and then I created strategies to help people, so that all my chapters, the 2 chapters or 3 chapters at the end of the book is recreating your atmosphere. So I literally teach people step by step how to recreate your atmosphere, how to get self-peace, how to get self-love. And then from there, I say, okay, now that you recreate your atmosphere, you don't got the people that in your circle that's pulling you down. Now what you need to do is proclaim your vision. What are you going to do with your life? What do you want to do? What are your goals? What are your visions? What do you want to speak in your atmosphere? Then you proclaim your vision. So then after you proclaim your vision, you know what you want to do. Now it's time for the greater. How do you prepare for that greater? How do you never go back to those things that are holding you back? So that's what the book is about.
Wow.
Amen. Amen.
Can I just say there's something you said that how to manage your emotions. So you're not saying you can't have emotions. What I'm hearing you say, you have to know how to manage it. What do you mean about that?
Yeah, so right now, about 88% of employers are looking for people that are skilled in social and emotional skills. The problem is that us, people that have been in school already, graduated, in the workforce, we don't even know what social emotional skills are because we were never taught. So social emotional skills are like, say for instance, you walk into a Walmart and you're like, hey, sweetie, do you know something on aisle 5? And they like, what? And you're like, oh, I ain't going back into that Walmart again. Because it was like you didn't have a good experience. That is a social or emotional. How do you socially interact with someone? Are you socially awkward? How are you managing your emotions? Like, how do you know in a corporate environment or a school environment if somebody picks at you or does something wrong? How do you solve problems quickly? How do you have have conflict resolution? How do you resolve the problem without getting aggravated? How do you, appreciate someone's opinion even though you don't respect their opinion or you don't agree with their opinion, you know? So it's like, how do you manage those type of emotions?
Wow.
And so that's what I teach in schools.
Oh, well, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Because
It's needed.
you do in the workplace have people that display their emotions right there. They come in with their emotions on their shoulders, and they take it home and they come back again. Where you hear the saying, say, leave your work at the job, leave your job at the job. But how do you do that if you don't know how to do that? You find yourself in the same, circle because you don't know how to leave that there.
Yeah.
So you're burdened down in your whatever, and you take all of that home with you, and then you bring it. So it's like a cycle.
Oh yeah,
It's like a cycle.
And a large percentage of people quit their jobs actually because of their peers. It does have nothing to do with their work. It has nothing to do with the workload. It has to do with their colleagues and their environment that they're in.
Right.
So the social emotional skills are very important in the workplace as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fantastic, and I'm gonna stop for a moment and say to the audience, I want you to get this. Also, this will be on a CD. You can call into Win TV and purchase your CD at $5. Also, you can email me at dedringo@yahoo.com. If you have any questions, you want to get in contact, you want to know more about Kristen Hopkins and what she's doing. She's actually in the Windsor school system. Am I correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
Yes, I am.
when will you be back for the Windsor? Anytime soon?
So I'm
And
here.
then let's talk about what you have coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I'm here
all right.
for an event. I'm going to be speaking, the keynote speaker at AFCamp Children's Advocacy, which is on Homestead Avenue. I will be doing this event where I'm talking with students or kids, youth between the age of 12 to 18. Adults are welcome as well. There are many adults that are signing up because this is not just for kids. You know, social emotional learning is not just for youth. It can apply to everyone. So I'll be there this Saturday. My keynote starts at 12:45. The actual event starts from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's AFCamp Advocacy, and you can register for free. It's a free event, lunch included. The organization is providing it. It is AFCamp. Or http://afcamp.eventbrite.com, and you can purchase or register for free.
Amen. All right, wonderful. So that's this Saturday.
That's this
Can you
Saturday.
just do the time? Give us the time.
Yes.
And also, if you could elaborate what you did in the school system. I believe you have your.
Yes. Okay. So AFCamp is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday, February 23rd.
Okay.
And you can find more information on my Instagram, which is @Dangers of the Mind. My Facebook is Dangers of the Mind and Kristen Hopkins, Kristen D. Hopkins, and the same with Twitter and I think that's it. Twitter. So
Okay.
So and my program. So right now we're in 6 districts, which I'm really excited about. So we're in Denver, Colorado. We're in Decatur, Illinois. We're in just got a partnership with New York. I'm excited about that. I'll be speaking at the New York Superintendent's event in August of this year, which I'm really excited about because we're looking to do a major partnership with New York schools. I'm also in DCPS, which I started. This was my 3rd year contract with DC. I'm in all the alternative schools and youth detention centers in DC, as well as I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, did I say Denver? I said. I think we're in Connecticut. So we're in Windsor High School here with the ISS program. So I have 2 different resources which are culturally responsive. And when I say culturally responsive, I have a podcast associated with my brand. So kids are listening to my podcast. I have a clothing line associate my brand, so kids are getting incentives every other month if they're engaged in a program. If they're excited about the program, they get incentives. And then we have a 10-week curriculum. It's an 18-week curriculum, but it's 10 lesson plans. And it's one for the teacher that teaches it, and then there's another for every student. So every student gets a participant portfolio, every teacher gets a facilitator guide, and they teach the program. And then I went and traveled the world, and I started sitting into different in-school suspensions, and I realized that kids would get sent back there, and especially especially Black and minority students, would get sent back there all the time, and it bothered me because I'm like, what are y'all doing? They're looking at YouTube videos. They sitting down sleeping, and so I was like, there has to be some type of self-reflection piece so y'all never come back. And so I created an in-school suspension toolkit, which is intervention for kids. Yes, that's this. It's an intervention kit, and it's basically right now this product I haven't really shopped around. It's been on the market for like 2 years, but I've been so focused on my curriculum that people are now grabbing onto this because this is like something that no one has. And so it's amazing how God can give you these ideas, because I was totally before the industry. Like this social emotional learning, like I created this in 2016. Like it's now just coming to the forefront that this is something big. So before I was creating, imagine just creating things and not having no one to look at. So it was a real pioneer moment for me because I couldn't copy no one. I couldn't look to the right or left of me. I literally had to trust God and say, God, give me the tools, give me the content to help these kids and make it as relevant as possible. So I created this specifically for students that are struggling at ISS and come, and we've seen decreasing numbers. We've seen kids come in and not come back, and that is the goal. And so this has been doing really well as well.
So can I? So this is a kit, actually.
It's a kit. Like it's look like a cereal box. That's what I think about it when I think about it. You know, but it's a kit, and it has 26 activity cards. It has a conquering rubrics, overcoming rubrics. It has like assessments for kids. Wow. And it's all connected.
Awesome.
Windsor High School has my curriculum, and they have it's so funny because also Chavez and DC charter schools, and one of the principals told me, she said, oh, can I call you? I mean, not the principal, the ISS coordinator. Can I call you for a second? I said, sure. And she called me, and she put them on speakerphone. All the kids said, shame on me. And it was because I started my first podcast episode said, shame on you. And so I was saying, shame on you for allowing insecurity to be your friend. Shame on you for allowing complacency to be your friend.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
they acknowledged it, and they were like yelling in the background, shame on me. And it just blew my mind, because it was like, I didn't even think I wasn't making the podcast to be like in schools, and then it was like, oh, this is like connected to my curriculum. Everything has just been like fused together, and it's phenomenal. But
Awesome.
Wow. This too. So this is the affirmation book. Schools buy this, and they get up for the first 30 days of school, and they repeat affirmations every day for the first 30 days. So this is a 30-day affirmation guide to help you get peace and prosperity in your life.
I like that. It helps you get peace and prosperity in your life. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
awesome.
yes. I tell you, I'm listening, and looking.
Can I see
you
that?
can't lose with the tools.
No.
Can I?
You can't lose with the tools. They're all here in black and white. You can purchase those from her Instagram, from her Facebook. You can purchase those. You could even shoot her a message.
Yes.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Learn. I mean, are you still doing the live Facebook shows?
Yeah.
Talk shows.
Are they? It was the power calls.
Yes.
So I stopped doing this for a while, but people haven't asked me to do them again, so I need to do them again. But I kind of transformed that to my podcast.
Okay.
So my podcast is it's free. You can download it on iTunes, on Spotify.
Okay.
And
So
it's
there you
every
go.
Wednesday. I record episodes every Wednesday. We just recorded the last episode was called The Winner's Circle. How do you identify if you're in the winner's circle? And it was really good. And so we do that. But also my website, dangersofmind.com. I have a great team of people that I'm working with. I'm excited to say that. So they will answer you and get back to you as soon as possible. We respond within 24 hours. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's another way. Really, that's probably the updated way to reach you
that's the
is
best
the
way.
podcast. Also, I wanted to go back a little bit, and because I want to make sure that the audience, and I know that we have a young audience as well, meaning your peers as well as our peers. But I was thinking as you were talking about when you said that you were young and you were drinking, because we have a lot of people that are young and they're drinking. And they're drinking and driving like what you did, what caused. But I want to bring back the point that out of that brought this. It was an awakening. It was It was a moment of awakening. Okay, so what? And I heard you say the word of depression. Can you expound a little bit how the depression came in and you got over that,
Oh, yeah.
and then, you know.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was. I think at a point in my life that I was so successful that I felt like I started getting fearful of failure because I felt like I couldn't sustain it, and it was and that's
Now
when
that's
I got,
powerful.
Yeah.
So you were so successful, which is what you wanted to be. And once you got it, you didn't know if you could obtain it.
Yeah, and I would say that I wasn't like. I would say that I'm more successful now than I was back then because I was successful, quote unquote, but my foundation wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so
Awesome.
now I'm successful because I have a foundation. I'm standing on something sturdy that even if
Yes.
the wind blows and the rain and the hurricane,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
still stand.
Yes.
And that's the difference. Like
Yes,
it was
it
like
is.
somebody could blow at me and I'd be knocked out when, back in the day. You know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So you know, or something could happen and I just flow with the wind and be with a crowd of people. That's not me. Not who I was. So I was really trying to find myself. I lost myself at a point in my life, and that was a big discovery for me. Was the depression and how did I overcome that? It was serious prayer. It was serious isolation. I had to isolate myself and really be by myself to learn who I was. Now I said this the other day. I tweeted this and I said, stop allowing people to be so accessible to you. And the reason why I said that was because people get very comfortable in our spaces sometimes.
Right.
Where they stop valuing our opinions, they stop valuing our time because we're constantly around them. And that's when, and I noticed that when you kind of draw back and come back in, people are like, oh, because you haven't been, you know, so that they value the time. But if you start seeing yourself so comfortable being accessible
Makes
all
sense.
the time, so people are
Yes.
not going to value you. But that's what I learned by isolating myself. I had to grow, I had to learn myself, I had to learn who I was as Kristen Danielle Hopkins, what my name means. Kristen, follower of Christ. Danielle, God is my only judge. Hopkins, renowned fame. That's what my name
Go
means.
ahead,
girl.
So I had to learn that.
Just
I had to
go
study
ahead.
that. Yeah. So I had to study who I was. Who I
Yes,
was. You know?
now that's serious
Yeah.
stuff.
It is. It
You
is.
really got down to business.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You
yes.
weren't joking.
No, I wasn't joking around. I had to know who I was. I couldn't come back the next time and allow God to use me and me not know who I am.
Ah,
Because
that's
where He's
awesome.
taking me, I need to know who I am. Nobody can know who I am for me.
Ah, awesome.
You
awesome.
know, and it makes so much sense.
It
Right,
does,
Pastor?
it does, it
You
does.
got to know who you are yourself, so that you're not moved easy. You know what I mean? It can't. You can't be swept away.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know who I even know what my name means.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
God
You know?
told me that. He revealed to me that 2 years ago when I was in DC. I was reading the book of Matthew, and he said, "I need you to stop and look at what your name means." And I literally looked on the internet, and I was just blown away.
Another thing I love about you and all of your success is God is the author.
Oh, He's the author. He's the finisher. Of my
Yes.
faith.
Ah.
And you're not holding it back. It's in the forefront. Pastor, because we're going to get ready to wrap it up. But this has been, there has to be, and when you come back in
Yes.
town, there has to be another part
yeah, I'm
that
gonna
we
be
can,
back.
because I know there's more.
Oh, yeah.
And we want the people in the community. We're here at Win TV. They're the best. Win TV is the best, and I believe this will be aired live next Thursday. So if you haven't caught it, don't worry about it. It's going to be aired live next Thursday. Okay, so Pastor,
You know what I just want to say? I thank God for you, Deborah, and the Vision of Hope, because it's a tool that put information out there that can be used, that can transform you from here to there to where you want to go. And as Kristen, as you was talking, like, don't let no one else define who you are. You
Yes.
find out who you are, and you know who you are, and no one else can define who you are. And I know you have traveled all over from
Yeah.
Africa to
to
different,
Haiti, yeah.
Haiti and different places,
China.
and now China,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you got a good foundation.
Yeah.
And one of the things I appreciate about you, I think you just got in this morning sometime
Yep.
and got the phone call.
Yep.
You had a full day, and yet you came over here.
course, yes.
And I love it that you have not forgotten your roots,
Oh, no,
your
not
foundation
at all.
roots.
Yep.
And the other thing, one other thing, just quickly, when you said you was out drinking and all that, and also you came from a Christian
Oh, yeah.
background,
Oh, yeah.
good foundation,
Yep.
but you thought you was looking for something else, but you came back to that.
Came back, and God will always make you come back around. He's gonna know who's the author now. He always gonna
Amen.
know who gonna get it? Because he like, oh, you could get her that way, but when you fall, Who you gonna lean on?
Yes.
So now it's like I seek God for every single meeting. I see God, like I'm not walking into no place without question. Like I even my friends joke around, but I'm like, I'm praying before I go to the mailbox because you don't know who gonna be outside at that right time. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be aligned in all places and all areas of my life. So
yes,
yeah.
And your success is no joke.
Oh no.
You went through all of that to get to your success, and it's not done. It's not over with.
It's just beginning.
It's just beginning, really. I mean, you're branching. From state to state, and that's just phenomenal. Yeah. And we're gonna close.
This is just awesome.
Just give us another reminder of where you're gonna be this Saturday.
Yep.
And those of you that are listening, this is on Homestead Avenue in Hartford.
Yes.
I want you to be able to come out. It's free.
Yes.
And she's going to give you all the other particulars.
Yes. So I forgot the name. I think it's the Chrysolite building. That makes sense, I think. So it is AFCAMP organization. It's for advocacy for children. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on this Saturday, February 23rd. So come out. It's free registration. Make sure you register. I'm sure if you forget to register, if you could just still come on out. They won't turn anybody away at the door. I don't think they will.
No.
They want everyone to experience it. They want it to be a phenomenal event, which I believe it really will. And also I want to leave one of my favorite quotes. It's in this book, the 30 Affirmation, but it says, the position of your mind determines the posture of your life. And that's one of my quotes. And I got that when I was flying back from Ghana. God was downloading quotes in my mind. I was literally, that's how I wrote this book. But the position of your mind determines the posture of your life. So if you position your mind every day, think about your thoughts when you wake up in the morning. How do they feel? How do you feel? And if you position your mind, that determines the outcome. That determines the posture of how you are. You align with your destiny.
Yes.
You know, so those are the type of things that I want to just share with you guys.
Okay.
You have any last
No,
words, Pastor?
I'm just so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And again, I thank God for the Vision of Hope that's here to educate and give you the tools that you need to go forward. And Debra doing such an excellent job with this. So we thank all of you for tuning in.
This is my pastor.
Yes, it is. This is part of the roots.
Yes.
Part of the foundation.
Yes.
Yes, and it's so lovely that you could come back and not think it robbery to be with us.
Of
and
course not. Yeah.
you know, because sometimes you can't reach a person when they start. But I love your spirit, your humility, and your success. You wear it well.
Thank you.
Awesome, and it has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
To have you here on the Vision of Hope show. And we want to thank you for tuning in. And we want to make sure that we reach the community. That's what we're all about. We're here to build you up. We're here to encourage you, to let you know that you're worth it, your self-worth, your integrity, want to build up your confidence. Most of all, we want to thank Win TV. They're the best. And we want you to remember that you can make it.
Oh, yes.